Okay, so this is probably the most asked question in teaching English. It's the one that you get here all the time, and I get so many emails about this. And that question is, should you do English lessons all in English, or should you use the kids' native language? And obviously there are different people's opinions on this, but you always have to sort of look at the motivation side of it. So in general, when you look from a learning point of view, just imagine if I just quickly switched into Japanese now and just started talking Japanese if you didn't understand it. もう全くわからなかったら、もう僕の言うことは全くわからないでしょ。だから僕はおはようと言っても意味わからないでしょ。So, if I just start talking like that, it just goes whoom, straight over your head. And even in your lessons, if you start saying, everybody, banana, dog, cat, and they get repeating after you, maybe with those words, the kids might understand from the pictures, but as soon as you start going into more complicated things, they won't understand. And the chances are they'll misunderstand actually what you're trying to teach them. For example, I had a demo lesson last year in Italy, and we're going through it and blah, blah, blah. And one of the cards was eat. So I was teaching the kids eat. And they're all going, eat, yeah, eat. And then at the end, we test them and we say, okay, so what does eat mean in Italian? And they all said, spaghetti. Because the picture on the card was somebody eating spaghetti. So you can imagine how these things turn out. Your kids have got amazing imaginations. So the key is all English usually does not work. Woo. Now, some schools say they want all English and they use that as a sales point because, if students are coming in and they're just hearing English with no explanations and asking no questions in their native language, it takes them a lot longer to learn. And a lot of the big chain schools, of course, want to keep people coming for longer and longer and longer. So they have this all English rule, which just keeps people thinking they're learning, but they're not actually. So we're not like that. We want our kids and our adult students to learn really well. So we have this idea called L+1. Now, L is the level of the language of the student. And the language you use in class, the English you use in class, should be their level plus just a little bit. So if you're starting out, most of the lesson should be in their language. But the target language, stand up, and sit down, and yay, that should be in English. And then once you've taught that, that becomes part of their L, their level of language. So from now on, those words are only ever in English. If you've taught it, from now on, that's only in English. And just add a little bit more. Don't go crazy with explanations of games and stuff because that's L plus 1,000. It will switch them off. L, their level, plus a little bit. That's the key. And what happens is, as you go through the curriculum, if you've got a good curriculum like Genki English, each lesson, the student's level goes up a bit more, and up a bit more, and up a bit more, and up a bit more. And you just keep going higher and higher. And eventually, you end up with the class being nearly all English, which is cool. But still keep asking the kids, asking the students, what they think the new language means. So don't put a flashcard up or teach us phrase and then tell them what it means. Say to them, okay, here's today's phrase, onaka ga tsuita. And then say to them, what do you think that means? And they'll guess. You can guarantee half of them will get it wrong. But if you hadn't asked them to guess, then that misunderstanding would continue right through your course. And of course, if we don't get the foundation right, the house falls down. So that's it. Use the native language where you can, but keep the English at L+1. And eventually the native language will disappear, but never completely disappear. Always need it for questions and answers that are above their current student's level. Use that skill to get the kids learning really fast. And give it a try. If you doubt me, of course you should doubt me, but give it a try in 2 classes. Try one all English, one where you're using the native language appropriately, and you'll see the huge difference in results. And it's all about results. We want the kids or the students to learn as fast as possible. So there you go. And one thing, if any of your bosses say otherwise, find out their motivation. I meet speakers. I travel around the world every single week. I'm on a flight in a different country. Most of my methods are based on learners, actually people who've learned a language. And they all say the same thing. You definitely need both to get really awesome at speaking a language and understanding it. Okay, that was rather long, wasn't it? I hope that helped. Ask if you've got more questions, ask below. I'm Richard from Kinky English.